Welcome back, everybody, to the Me and Jesse podcast, everybody. This is the number one sports podcast in Canada and the star of the show. I miss very much. The one and only Jesse Martin.
What's up, everybody? Happy New Year. It's 2024, which is good. First episode of the new year, and we got some good things happening this year. But, you know, first thing I wanted to start off the year, and Mark, you'll really appreciate this. How about them Cowboys? I thought I'd start off 2024 good for you, you know?
Yes.
You had a bad 2023 with sports.
It was a very happy day. The Cowboys got shit canned, and then the Red Wings beat the Maple Leafs all in the same day. And I'm like, could this not be the perfect day?
Well, I think that for you, that definitely is a big part of it.
Yes, it is. It is. I do take great, joy in watching the Cowboys lose and watching the Toronto Maple Leafs lose. Those two organizations bring me great joy. And the fans out there get mad at me because I kick them when they're down.
Yeah.
And I tried to explain to them that's a polite way of putting it because I like to shove your nose in a pile of dog shit when you lose. You know what I mean? Because I can't. I just love how Dallas just didn't lose. They got handled
by the Packers, who shouldn't be doing what they're doing, but they're doing.
But as of late,
they have. They put in some big wins, and they did it. They deserve it, and they put it on the Cowboys.
Haven't we talked about that immensely on this show? That it's more about brotherhood and unity, and when you start to believe in each other, they all know how to play the sport. Everyone knows how to play the sport, and then all of a sudden something clicks, and they all start believing in each other, and there's no telling what can happen.
No, absolutely, and that's the key there. You see that with that. How about the Texans beating and like putting it down on the Browns?
Oh yeah, I expected that. I wanted the Flacco story.
I don't know. I wanted the Flacco story to go too, but like that was a beat down.
Me too. But then now you have the Baker Mayfield story still today. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
But two games tonight on the NFL docket, and Baker Mayfield could be carry the Cinderella story going on. But then you look at Detroit.
I know.
Winning yesterday, just putting it on them, and literally, a guy that you thought was his career was just in the toilet, and then the quarterback, and he literally now decides, you know what? I think
when's the last time the Lions have won a playoff game?
38 years ago.
Holy moly!
Yeah, 38 years ago.
That's insane.
When I was still a fan of theirs.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy for them though. I was ecstatic, and then of course. It was something to watch, to see the fans literally crying, like they were crying because they were so happy. And you know what the crazy part is? They have a home game next week again.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
So this is huge for them. Huge.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it obviously the competition goes even crazier at this point. But still, it is what it is now. Steelers Bills obviously start, they had to push the game back to today because of
weather.
Of all the weather, man. North America's been it's been a little cold, but this is. I'm on the Bills train. I really want them. I obviously the Chiefs put it on the Dolphins, but to me, I want the Bills to go.
Yeah,
I want them to
because they're not expected to go now, so that's why you want them to go.
Yeah,
because. The way they played this season, they were all over the place, right? So
but the last number of weeks have been much better. Now the Eagles, on the other hand, other story. There is actually talk that the coach gets fired if they don't win this game tonight.
Well, did you see Kelsey and Kelsey on their podcast?
No, I didn't see that.
Travis Kelsey started cracking off a little bit about their slide, and the brother walks off during the show.
Wow.
Walks off during the show. And then returns the next day after he wiped his nose, and they had to after they got done breastfeeding him, he could come back onto the show. I mean, it's bananas. But it's funny. I used to like the Kelsey brothers, like their podcast. On occasion I did watch it. When I saw the Kelsey brother that plays for Philadelphia walk off because his feelings were hurt, I look at him totally different now. I just do.
Yeah, I guess so. Do you think that maybe it was a little bit of a play to get some views on there?
No, not the way. No, I initially I watched it a few times to make sure. No, he was butthurt for
Yeah.
real, and I was like, really? And Travis looked like, what? What? Why did you leave? But this is what happens, man. Sensitive times now. Even these big guys are sensitive, so
Yeah.
it's funny. It's funny, but like I said, to see the Cowboys get demolished was just, oh,
Oh,
it was
glorious.
it was incredible, and I couldn't be more excited.
I hate the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to say it.
Me
I
too.
hate
Me
them.
too.
I
Me
don't
too.
want them to do anything.
Yeah, I don't think they'll go that much farther. I don't think they can. I don't think they can make it to the end. I don't.
Oh man, I don't know. It's the thing is Andy Reid.
Baltimore,
Andy Reid.
Baltimore, Baltimore,
Well,
Baltimore.
I mean, yeah, but again,
Yeah.
it's one of those things like you just don't know what's going to happen here. So, yeah, the Eagles, I think, man, if they win today, okay, maybe they can pull it around, but that has been an epic slide. And then, of course, over the last week, Pete Carroll's gone out of the Seahawks. Stays on as an advisor, but I and the writing was on the wall for me.
Did you see that? Did you see that funny kind of like Instagram story that was going around of the Croatian coaches? Because Nick Saban is Croatian.
Yeah.
Belichick is Croatian,
Yeah.
and Carroll is half Croatian.
Yeah.
And they said that they're going to start looking to Croatia now for football coaches.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was so funny because all three of them are basically done all at the same time in the same year, and they've all had huge careers, all of them.
Right.
So it's almost kind of weird how all three of them bowed out all at the same time, all at the same year. And don't be surprised if you see on Instagram a vacation to Croatia with Pete Carroll, Saban, and Belichick. Belichick and Saban have gone together already, but they'll bring Pete Carroll this time.
So yeah, I know. I thought Pete Carroll was there with them too.
I don't think so. I think it was just the two of them. But I would see them all going together now that they have beyond money and they have time.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of time there.
I think Belichick's going to be in the office up top, and I think so is Carroll.
Carroll is, like they're saying, he's going to be on an executive advisor role, whatever that means.
Yeah.
But Belichick, I don't know, man. I think he might want to be a head coach somewhere else. There was a rumor that Seattle was going to interview him, which would be crazy. But they're talking about Dan Quinn again because Dan Quinn just got thumped in Dallas as a deep C. But go back to a head coach role in Seattle.
So he was defensive coordinator, right?
Yeah, he's DC, and he is amazing defense. Like every defense that he's the DC on,
fantastic.
they become one of the top 3 defenses.
Fantastic.
Fell apart on Sunday for the Cowboys, but regardless, I don't know though. I think the Seahawks had to do it. I think it's time. I think it's time to you got some young pieces. That's good. They're going to get a quarterback this draft and build around a new coach. See what happens. Yeah. I mean, everyone's going young now. Like it is young.
They are, everybody.
Yeah. Like Dan Quinn's even considered old now. So
he is.
Belichick and Carroll are ancient in comparison to some of the coaches now of what's going on. So anyway, it's a lot of things. What do you think is going to happen in the Raiders?
I hope they sign AP, Antonio Pierce, like the current coach that they had, the interim coach. I hope they sign him. I think the guys really gravitate towards him. They basically were one win away from making the playoffs, and literally he came in at a really horrible time. So it's great. It's great. I want him to be. I don't want Harbaugh to be the coach. Harbaugh should stay in Michigan, make $120 million for 10 seasons, and call it a day.
Yeah. Yeah, it is one of those things but again, like I said, the coaching shakeups are I think they're going to be a lot this year.
Oh, and it's going to be, that's going to be fun to watch for the next few months. Yeah. Like that's going to be really fun to watch.
There's always something to keep you interested.
Yeah, definitely. They always find a way.
They find a way.
They find a way. Yeah.
But yeah, again, like playoffs, obviously, I really want the Bills to do it. But the Niners, they got to play the Packers. That'll be actually a decent game now that you look at it.
Now it's interesting.
Yeah.
Now it's interesting.
Yeah, especially if McCaffrey's not totally 100%. So that matters a lot.
So good. He's so good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, everybody, we'll be right back on the Me and Jesse podcast.
Get ready. It's time for the Me and Jesse podcast with Mark Pavlich and Jesse Martineau.
Well, you know what?
What?
Just when you think you're out, they pull you back in. Mark Pavlich back in the fight game after how long now? It's been like 6 years, 7 years?
12 years.
12 years
man.
out?
12 years, man.
Holy
12
moly.
years. Yeah. I'm excited. It just got released today. I'm co-owner of Unified Boxing and on UFC Fight Pass. And our first show is May 24th. And I'm like beyond excited, but my excitement becomes nervousness.
Yes.
So I'm not like I know this game better than anybody. So I can say that without even feeling arrogant for 1 second. And it's like I just know it better. I just know how everything's better when I do this business. And I'm like nervous and excited all at the same time. And it's going to be Unified Boxing. I want you to go to all their social media and follow immediately because I'm involved now. And when I'm involved, that means shit's going to hit the fan. It's going to be exciting. And I don't care. Like that's the difference between me and everybody else. Like people respect people, in this business of boxing. I do not, like I just don't. I don't have any respect for you. I don't like you. I'm different. Like you decide how you want to do stuff. For people, it's an act. As you know, Jesse, it's not an act for me. I'll pick 10 people to fight with that are all bigger than me, no one underneath me. That's always been my mantra. I won't fight anybody below me. I just want to fight people that are above me in this business. And then I'm going to take your spot, like we're going to take your spot. Like let's say I'm number 10 in the world. I'll be 9, 8, 7, 6. That's how I did it in MMA. I'll do the same thing in boxing. And along with my partners, Ken Franchuk and Sonny Serene. And, it's funny because when you see those three people together, you go, Ken's great at these things, Sonny's great at these things, and Mark's really great at these things. So it's a great combination, and I couldn't be any more excited.
Well, that's really cool. May 24th.
May 24th, and of course you'll be there, and you'll have a pass on that says I can walk wherever the F I want. So
good. That's exciting. So who's the first target? Who are you going after first?
Well, I've already started the process, and I'm going to go after a lot of people, and it's not going to be your typical local boxing card. I won't do that. I just won't. Yeah. So there'll be local fighters on it, but it'll be bigger than that. And I've seen how they've polluted boxing in the town of Edmonton long enough and around the surrounding areas, and I will unpollute it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you don't got to like it, but you're going to have to accept it.
Yeah, it's going to be there.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
How excited are you to do it again, though?
Well, I started losing sleep again. So I'm losing sleep. Yeah, so I'm losing sleep again, which is something I enjoy. I enjoy it because it's not a losing sleep because it's a losing sleep because I'm excited about that project.
Right.
And that's why I lose sleep about it. And that's what I enjoy. I enjoy that.
We'll be right back with our guest today, Pete Spratt, everybody. Be right back.
Introducing Backscape, the superhero of back hair removal.
Hey there, I'm in Backscape World Headquarters. My name is Baxter Archibald Kingscape, the spokesperson here at Backscape. And I know why you're here. Either you or someone you know has one hairy back, and you're trying to get rid of it.
We understand the struggle with unruly back hair. In fact, 77% of women agree. It's not the ideal look. But don't worry, we're here to help you reach your smoothest potential. We've built Backscape to tame that wild back jungle in minutes. Our mission is to empower every man to feel his best, look his best, and help him reach his smoothest potential.
Backscape gives you the confidence whether you're at the pool, the beach, hey, anywhere you go. You can stay smooth all year long.
Our patented technology ensures the smoothest, most comfortable, and close shave every time.
We believe in something else here at Backscape, and that's how you feel about us. Our customer service is the best. Hey, even if you need relationship advice, our customer service agents are that good.
We're so confident that you'll love the Backscape experience that we offer a 30-day.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Me and Jesse podcast. My name is Mark Pavlich. Across the way in the Grove, the big, sexy Jesse Martineau, and our special guest tonight, everybody, the secret weapon.
Hello.
Mr. Pete Spratt, back.
Good to have you
Good to
back.
be back again, gentlemen. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good to be back.
Well,
You look younger. You look younger. How do you do that?
yeah, what's going on there?
They call me a day walker out here, so I guess I'm a vampire.
That's
So
good.
yeah, I just Tuesday, I just turned 53.
53.
Oh, happy birthday.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
And we still can't believe you're not in the UFC Hall of Fame. And we won't dwell on that all show, but we will bring it
Yeah.
up from time to time. At least your fight with Lawler should be end of story.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Especially with as big an underdog as I was at that particular time.
Correct.
So yeah, that's something that I think should be in there, but it is what it is.
And no one at that time was going to strike with Lawler. Remember that? It was
Yeah.
No one's going to strike with him. No one's going to strike with him. And then you just kicked his leg off, and let alone that should be in the Hall of Fame. Just that fight itself should be in. There's no question.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens.
Well, we'll get it done sooner or later.
I mean, I hit one Hall of Fame this year. Well, this past year, since we're in 2024 now. My university inducted me into the Hall of Fame, so
That's
I just
right.
got in that. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
I'm good.
We follow you, Pete,
Thank you.
everything you do. So we follow what you're doing with your daughter, which literally is the textbook of when your daughter. Did you ever picture this moment? Because I have for you already. I picture your daughter winning some crazy award one day in sports and saying, I'd just like to thank first and foremost my dad.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
It's coming because you spend so much time getting that project that I don't know what's going on in your head, because I know you got a lot going on in your head when it comes to training your daughter, because she is a high level volleyball player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing that sets her back though, is going to be her height. So I'm really making an emphasis on developing her jump ability. And just over the course of the past couple of months, I think I've already probably improved her vertical jump about 3 inches.
Jeez.
So she's
That's crazy.
Yeah, she's at 5'4", but she's getting her head to the top of the net when she jumps.
That's incredible.
Wow.
And so I see a lot of these volleyball jump videos with these girls, but these girls are 5'9", 5'10". So I'm like, it's not as impressive as seeing my 5'4" daughter do the same thing.
Right.
No, it's
So-
100%. 100%.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens, man. I'm just having a good time, enjoying the ride, and being able to be a vital part of her development as an athlete. So I'm just having fun with it.
Where could she go, Pete? Is she going to get a scholarship?
I think because of her position in volleyball, I don't necessarily think she won't get a higher level scholarship offer because of her height at the position that she plays. But I do think she will get some Division I offers for throwing.
Oh,
With discus and shot put.
Oh, okay,
she does.
okay.
That's right. That's right.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's kind of where as far as college, that's kind of where my focus is being pointed in that direction, just because I know I can get her to where she's throwing at D1 level.
Wow, that's pretty cool though. And then like the Olympics is kind of the thing with that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just excited. I'm glad I don't have to fight for her to go work. I mean, she's seeing results now, so it's like she's ready to go work whenever it's time to go work. It used to be I had to pull out of the bed. Yo, let's go. We got to go work. I don't want to, Dad.
That must be hard, eh? Have your dad as Pete Spratt and like, you're going to have to get up. Like, it's like, it's not like you're going to let her you're not giving her the 5 minutes.
Get the
Like, you're not
slide.
giving her the snooze. You're not. I know you're not, right? So it must be weird having your dad as the secret weapon, because, you go to hit the snooze button and you block it with your foot, like,
Yeah.
she's like,
I mean, it's hilarious. The running joke at her school is, are you Pete Spratt's kid? Like, everybody does that does it to her at school because they've Googled me, they've done their
Of
research,
course.
so
Right. Of
they're
course.
familiar with me fighting. Oh, speaking of, I brought some special gifts for the show today.
Oh, what do you got here?
Old, just some
Oh,
old
look
school
at you!
reminders.
that
Look at
thing,
you
eh?
dusting that off! Look at you dusting that off!
Knockout of the night, MFC 25, Vindication, May 7th, 2010.
Wow!
Jeez.
Wow! 14 years ago. Look at
Wait a
this.
minute. There's another one. Which one is this one? Knockout of the night, MFC 22, Payoff, October 2nd, 2009.
2009.
Jeez.
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow!
Do you remember who you knocked out those times?
Nathan Gunn is one of them for sure.
Oh, that was so sick. That
And
was
I don't
so
know
sick.
who the other one is.
Jesse, if you, I got to put
I'm
that
trying to
knockout
remember
on
which
our
one that
Facebook
is.
page. It looked like a cartoon, like and Nathan Gunn. No disrespect, but it looked like a cartoon. He hit him with an uppercut, but he did like a Popeye uppercut, and he dropped him, and he pancaked him, and literally dead, like it was death, like just wow.
Yeah, it was bad.
He
Jeez.
he flatlined him.
Oh man. Yeah, this is great. Some of those hits, man, those are awesome. So
You know, it's weird. I used to laugh about it. Like, people used to get mad at me for that because when I owned the show, I would laugh. Like when you did that, Pete, I started laughing because it was so funny, the knockout of him. And then after he came and said, "Oh, Mark, I saw you on TV laughing," I said, "Bro, I wasn't laughing at you. I'm laughing at the way it looked. It looked like It looked like a cartoon, like you'd see in the cartoons, like Popeye hits somebody and then they get knocked out. This is what it was, but it was a real thing, and it's arguably it's one of the best knockouts in MMA history, not just in MFC. And like that thing went viral before the word viral even came out.
right, right.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
How's your hybrid fighting system going? Like, what are you doing with that now?
I mean, it's going good. I mean, I'm having a good time developing people. I think the last time we talked, I think I told you I would have CJ in the UFC before
And he
long,
is.
and he is.
He's there, yeah.
And I've got another young lady that I'm training here at for Fury Fighting. She got Amateur Fighter of the Year. She won 3 belts last year.
Sweet.
And then she also got Amateur Fighter of the Year. So I'm anticipating that she's going to be next in line sometime this year, probably toward the end of this year. I think she'll be next in line. We're getting our new headquarters location. We're putting the finishing touches on that, opening up a close to 10,000 brand new square foot facility built from the ground up.
Wow.
And so we're heavily excited about getting that underway and rolling. And I mean, I'm just having fun, man. Just developing everything. I mean, everything's going to be hybrid now. I'm gonna get my certification for home inspection. So my home inspection business is going to be hybrid certification. It's gonna be something like that. My performance training is going to be hybrid, whatever it is. So I'm just having fun.
If that's stuck in your head, though, that's stuck in your head now, right? Because you, with your success with your fighters, success with your daughter, success with all these things. It doesn't matter what sport it is, right? It doesn't. Like what you're talking about. If you're in San Antonio, right? So you're in San Antonio. So you could work with NFL athletes. You could work with hockey players. It wouldn't even matter.
Yeah. And so, and then for me, my system, the way I fought was a hybrid style anyway, because I felt like with all the stuff that I did, I felt like if I went to a boxing gym, I would be able to adapt and be able to box. If I went to a Muay Thai gym, I would be able to go strict Muay Thai with the slow 1-2s and the slow kicks and stuff like that. Be able to adapt to Muay Thai. If I went to a karate gym, I'd be able to go in there and point fight. So I felt like my system and the way I fought was always a hybrid of trying to be able to use whatever I needed from which particular art, determining, who I was fighting.
Right. Well, how much of that though, like now, training people, how much of that has turned to like the mental side of it too? Because that's something that, it's a little different, starting a combat or any sort of sports career to someone like you that's been around and ups and downs of all different kinds. How much of that is being implemented into that system?
Well, I mean, I mean, it's kind of hard to say because it's hard for a lot of people to understand. If I tell you, I see what your athletic ability is, and I see what your tendencies are, but I also see where I can transition you into learning something that's a little bit different that you can implement to your system without having to completely change. So like when people come to me, I never try to change someone's style. I just try to add to their toolbox.
Right.
And mentally, I make sure that I say, when we go into sparring, you have to try these things and implement these things, or you'll never know if they work for you.
Right.
Because what works for me might not work for you, or it might not work for you in the same way. But you can get to a point to where you can manipulate that and mold that to something that can work for you physically.
Do you think now moving forward that you'll be known more for being a coach and trainer than you will for fighting? Because it seems like you've transferred your entire brain a different direction towards kind of like mentoring, training, kind of that whole twist to your brain, because you technically got to be less combative and more like you're more kind of an educational thing going on now, right? And it seems
for sure.
It seems like you're really like on top of it, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm trying to, make sure that my fighters don't go through some of the experiences that I had coming up.
Sure.
I try to be there. Like you, Mark, personally, I've had a couple of instances where I had to say, hey, my corner ain't going to make it. I need you to find somebody to corner me when I get
It's
there.
true. It's true.
100%. And for me, I've made it a mission to try to always be in my fighter's corner so they don't have to ever experience that.
Correct.
That sense of, who's there for me? Who am I going to get to coach me? Like, it sucks, man. So, I mean, there's several fights that I could have won, in my opinion, that I think if I'd have had a reliable coach to be there for me every step of the way, and I want to try to be there for my fighters.
Well, that's like saying if you go to any sport in the world, Pete, NFL, NHL, whatever it is, and there's no coach, there's a problem. Yeah. There's a problem. Yeah. So you can't take say like the Baltimore Colts and say, okay, we've had this coach all this time, he didn't show up today, so now we're going to throw somebody else in there and he's just going to kind of wing it, but he doesn't really know the team very well. I would think you're insane, right?
Now that was happening to you at a high level.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
happened to me several times in the UFC.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You wouldn't really see that today. You'd think. Maybe you do.
You would hope not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know. But
you were a pioneer. Like he was a pioneer. You were a pioneer for that because you experienced something in that not only do you have to go in there and fight, but every time you go take a break and all the things, it's just gone.
Yeah. I mean, it's so different, man. Today is so different. For me, when I signed the dotted line to fight, you can pretty much guarantee I was going to be there. Nowadays, man, these kids are pulling and dropping out and doing.
You see that a lot now.
Like, for anything.
Yeah, like it's unbelievable, and because I tell these kids when they give me these experiences and these excuses and all of this stuff, I was like, yo, every experience that you could possibly have, I've already done it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not dealing with the excuses.
Yeah.
I've had every issue that you could possibly think of happen to me in the fight game. And if I tell you this is going to happen, you can expect that it's going to happen.
Right.
And I've had several I told you so moments with some of my fighters.
Yeah. And that's what I mean about the mental side too, because of your experience, like, what could happen. And so do you find it like it's evolved much talking to like different generations of athletes now?
No, I don't think it's evolved just because they're hard-headed. They always have to experience it for themselves.
Yeah.
No matter what I tell them, this is what's going to happen if you do this, if you make this decision,
and you already know it. You already know it.
Yes, and they don't listen, and it happens anyway.
Right.
And then I say, I told you so.
Yeah.
I said, why don't you just listen and avoid that headache? And they never do. So
what,
I mean, I got
after it goes bad?
That female I had, she listens though. That female I got, she listens.
So you think that nothing's really changed then in life? It's like everybody has to figure it out the hard way. It's just the way that'll never change. It seems like in the fighting world, it's so bizarre thinking like you're their coach, knowing you went through all this shit, and they still think to themselves, no, I can do it better. And then they find out, and I'm glad you say to them, I told you so.
Yeah.
I think we all scared to say that to people, but it's almost to the point now where we have to bring that back to say, I never told my children, I told you so. I just looked at them and they knew I told you so. But but it literally should come back, because I told you and you still did it. And now you're doing it the right way. So it's like the old expression when you were a kid, the stove was hot. Your mother said, don't touch it. You wanted to touch it anyway.
Right.
You burned your finger
figured it out.
because you were a fucking idiot. And then and now this is happening. It still happens in the real world. And it's crazy because you would think, see, at my age now, at my age of 56, if Pete Spratt tells me, Mark, stop dropping your right hand when you're doing something, guess what? It's here for the rest of my life. Okay. Yeah. That's because as you get older, I think maybe it clicks in once in a while and you go, okay, I don't want to learn the hard way no more, man. It's too hard.
Yeah.
You know, when we went through hard times, all of us in life, it's like, we remember what it was like to go through hard times. We're like, I don't want to go through hard times, man. I don't say I want life to be easy, but I already know, don't do that. That's not good for me.
Yeah. I mean, I find it very rare. I find it very rare that the athlete will listen to his coach, his or her coach, for 100%.
Yeah.
I find that very rare. And the ones you do, man, you want to hang on to those guys, but it's very rare that they're going to listen to what your coach says 100%. And then I get to give them the I told you so.
Yeah. What about after that moment though? Because I think that to me is the big moment. Is if that first time happens, do they listen after? What?
No.
Oh man.
Not always.
Is there a point?
Not
Is there
not
a point?
always, but
not always. Yeah.
Is there a point where you say I just can't work with you?
CJ, I've given him the "I told you so" comment about 5 times during his career.
Wow.
So,
5.
Yeah, about 5. Yeah.
See, 2 is acceptable. 3 usually is like, okay, you're just not. There's something wrong with this kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you say 5, you say
about 5 times. Yeah, he's getting better. It's not as bad. Yeah, but it's getting better.
And he's doing well in the UFC. Am I correct?
He is, man.
Yeah,
he is. It took a couple I told you so's for him to get his shit together, but
it's coming.
He's
right.
He's there now. He's there now.
That's awesome.
So is there a point that comes along that there's a point comes along where you just say it to someone like, you're just not getting it?
Yeah.
And that's it.
What is that point?
And I've had to send them on their way.
Yeah.
What is that point? Like, what's the number? Is there a number, or is it just stuff?
It's an attitude.
It's not a particular number, but it's a feeling and an attitude. Like I have a heavyweight, very talented heavyweight. Doesn't want to listen. And
nameless.
He's this close from me saying, "Hey, you need to find another gym."
Bounce.
Yeah.
Very talented. If he would dedicate himself for 1 year,
it's over.
He could be in the UFC.
Easy.
Wow.
Easy, because the heavyweight division,
it's still easy. It's still easy. Yep.
Yeah. So it's like, give me 1 year of you not with the bullshit, and I promise you'll get to where you're
right. Yeah.
Now, is the difference?
We've
talked about this lots, but talent here and drive here.
Yeah.
To find the people that do both, that's not common.
It's not common.
You can have people that are so driven and want to, and they just don't have the talent.
Yeah.
But the people that have the talent just don't have the drive or the will to really do it.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It's tough when you see the talent, and then the lack of drive and the will. It's just like, oh, you wasted
because this guy over here with the will and the drive that has no talent, like if you had an ounce of this guy, you would be something.
Yeah.
100%.
It's weird how that works. And what you look at the great sports, Jordan, Gretzky, that kind of stuff. They had both. And that was it. That's all that. And it wasn't anything outside of that. It was, I have all the drive in the world.
That's what we're talking about. That's what we can. That's why just off the top of your head, you can do that in every sport.
Yeah,
you can do that in every sport. Off of, when Curry sits there and shoots, 9 hours straight of 3 balls when he was a kid. You wonder why. You wonder why he can do that today. And then you wonder why he still does it today. And it's like, well, is he the greatest 3-point shooter of all time? Probably he's going to go down in history as the greatest. We won't even discuss it. That's why when you say Jordan, we're not discussing that because he was. Gretzky was. Every sport, Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, they were. Tiger was hitting 9,000 golf balls a day, and his dad said, come in, and he would argue with his dad to not come in. Who does that? That's greatness. You don't like, what's funny now? There's a blueprint out there for greatness for everybody. And we're trying to pretend like we don't know what the solution to be great is. But we all know what it is. We all know you can't skip steps.
Right.
We all know.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, if you're super fat, we know why you're fat. If you can't run fast, we know why you can't run fast. If you're not good at golf, means you're not hitting enough golf balls. If you're not good at track, you're not running enough sprints. If you weigh too much, you're eating too much cake. If you want to go on, we could do this all day long. Yeah. We know this now. We didn't know this 20, 30, 40 years ago, but today we got examples. You listen to Jordan. When you saw Jordan, did you guys all watch the documentary?
Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm.
And did you see the only time that the greatest basketball player of all time started crying? When he said, I tried my hardest to get them to play to my level, and they wouldn't come up to my level. And that's what made Michael Jordan cry during the documentary. Can you imagine how, not everything else, nothing else made him emotional. He tried to get those players like Steve Kerr and the rest of those guys to play to his level, and they couldn't. And that's what made him emotional. You imagine that's something in their brains that they know how to click. And they go to that level. Anderson Silva in his prime, we all remember. He made it look like he was walking in the park beating the shit out of people. He made it look like it was so easy. It was just so easy for him. But because he practiced and practiced and practiced, but he didn't just have talent. He had the mental fortitude. He had the know-how. He had it all, man. And these are the guys that you could just name off, the GSPs and everybody else. It's just, they're just that level up here outside of everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you say? How, looking back at your career, when did you figure that out? What you tell the guys now, when did you figure all that out yourself?
I I figured that out way before I got into fighting.
Yeah.
Because I've always been a pretty high level athlete. Anything that I decided to dip my hands in, I was always like extremely talented. I used to do gymnastics, which was crazy. I walked in one day, it's like, yo, I want to try this, and they were like, okay, you're really talented. You should stick with it. But I couldn't stick with it. Track, football, basketball. I tried soccer at some point, was pretty decent at soccer. Like there's always been things that I've been able to I won an amateur Golden Gloves title with boxing. So there's always been a lot of stuff. So for me, I learned it, a long time ago. But these athletes today, they're not so what is the word I'm looking for? They're not well versed at being able to do multiple things, which is a good thing too. Like if you're focused on learning MMA and that's what you want to do, more power to you. If you just only want to play, like my daughter, she for a long time, for 6-7 years, for a long time, she only wanted to do volleyball. But I'm thinking, yo, you ain't tall enough. You're gonna have to find another avenue. You're gonna have to find another avenue to do something. So that's when we went, focusing on the track thing. So it's weird dealing with these athletes nowadays because of so much of the social media influence as well. Is they're being able to see all of these other people do these different types of things, but it's like, yo, that's not you. That's that person's journey.
That's right.
You have to find your own journey.
You think you think off the record? Well, we're on the record, but if you think on the record that they're softer now,
yes.
Yeah. Okay. I know that
I
to
mean,
be I know that to be true. So
Why? Why is that though?
I know that to be true. I didn't know you were going to answer it, but I agree.
Why is that?
yeah. It's the what's the era we're in? Everybody gets a trophy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Everybody's not supposed to win.
Right.
That's why you keep
No.
score.
That's where I think people messed up.
Everybody's not supposed to win.
That's
Yeah, that's
right.
the difference, because I think like participation's great, and you talk about the drive thing. Yeah, awesome. You participated. You didn't win.
Yeah.
But you participated,
Ultimately-
which is great. You did more than 95% of the rest of the people in your school, which is awesome. But there's another level to this now, and you've just subjected yourself to it.
Yeah.
And that's it. But just,
like
I know.
you keep scoring for the wins. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. That's life. If you're not learning something from winning or losing, because you learn certain things when you win, but you learn more when you lose. But if you're just participating and you getting trophies for participating, you're not learning anything
Right.
That's right.
except how to be mediocre and how to be average.
Yeah.
That's right.
In my opinion.
Right. And if you're talking and we're talking about getting people into professional sports, like this isn't a joke. This is something that there's a million other people that want this.
And that's not going to fly in that genre. That's still reality. So you want reality. I tell it to people all the time. Go to the military. You go to the Marines and think you can do it the way you think. And the Marines said, I love what they said one time, because someone thought a female became a Navy SEAL, which is not the truth thing.
No.
She did not pass the course. She's passed one stage of the course. And I'm not talking shit about females. I got all love for you. But what they were talking about was, at one point they were talking about changing the criteria for the Navy SEALs. And the Navy SEALs said that'll never happen. No one can ever make us do that. We'll never change our criteria. Never. So we do want a woman to succeed, but we will not change our criteria for anybody, for their height, size, gender. Never, ever, ever, ever. And I said, you know what? They're the only ones, because everybody else has. The whole world has changed and said, no, we're going to lower the standard. We're going to do this so that everybody can get in, whether you're a firefighter, police officer, whatever the case may be. The Navy SEALs are the only ones that still said, not going to happen on our clock, man. And it's funny, because I have a neighbor who's a high-end fireman, and he said, don't ever get stuck on the 18th floor when it starts to burn, because most of those people, whether they be males or females, they can no longer carry you from the 18th floor down to the ground. You'll burn to death, because they are making it for everybody to participate. And that does not translate over in everything we're doing.
It doesn't translate to greatness.
No, it does not.
No.
And that's the
Not at
difference,
all.
I think, is and then you get, but again, this is where resets happen, I think, in sports too, because you get someone that, is head and shoulders above, that have been driven their entire life, and come into a sport that, maybe has hit a lull and blow it out of the water again. And everyone's like, oh, we have to match that. But who's that person now? Because it doesn't seem like they're really happening. Like, who's the one now? Like, you go to the sports now.
What sport are we talking?
Any sport. There's not there's guys. There's a few guys, but there's not the one. There's not the Jordan.
I mean, for what? For basketball,
LeBron.
Your default go-to is LeBron.
Yeah.
Because he's been there for so long. But
Yeah, it's funny.
yeah. Well, if
Jesse,
you talk about gymnastics, Simone Biles, you can say
Yeah.
that. But for the most part, if you just go across the board with the sports,
It's
there's
different
not
now.
Really,
It's different.
Yeah, it's not really one person that you can.
We were going to
say-
say it in boxing. But then we saw Tyson Fury fight Francis Ngannou, and we saw Ngannou arguably won the fight against him in his very first boxing fight. So we look back at Tyson Fury, and I got love for Tyson Fury, but is he? Can we talk about him as being great in anything? Can we now? Because a guy that's never had one boxing fight, knocked him down, and arguably, if you go to the scorecard, he might have won that fight. But he didn't. Okay, so no one's really arguing that, but it was that close, and he knocked him down. But can we say that about anybody in boxing right now? We cannot. We
No.
can't say, we could say it in golf with Tiger Woods now in this era. You know, we could probably say that. And then we
Yeah.
could, but you know, I'm saying we have to think hard now. You have to think super
Yeah.
hard because it's not like MMA. You can't talk like that. Who in MMA right now is the one besides John Jones, who at any given week could be locked up. At any given week can be locked up. And I love John Jones, but he could be locked up at any week. He knows it well as I do. 1 second he's telling you to praise God, the next second he's, you know, hit and run. Like it's crazy. And it's like that could be your greatest of all time, you know. And when you look at the greatest of all times and you talk about Muhammad Ali and you talk about these guys, there was more than just the sport. They had a way about themselves.
Yeah, there was more than just, it was outside of the sport.
Yes, it was like they carried themselves accordingly, and a lot of people don't do that anymore. They don't want to be a role model. They've said that. They said, "Nah, I'm nobody's role model." They announce, "I don't want to be a role model," because they want to. If they want to do dumb shit, they don't want to be prosecuted for it. Instead of saying, "I want to be a role model," and I will have that in the back of my head, so when I do think about doing stupid shit, I go home.
Yeah,
I'm a role model. I'm going home.
Man, oh man. But I think it is like you look, you're right. Like you said, are they soft? Yeah, it's softer. There's no question. There's no question about it.
I would tell you like this. If I decide I want to get some cardio in and I jump in my class with my fighters, I'm not talking about my fundamental class.
You're talking
when I jump in to get some cardio with all my fighters, and I'm beating everybody up at 53 years old, they stop.
I mean, that's the mic drop right there.
I say nothing, man.
they still, because I thought I was going to be able to hand it over to my guy CJ.
Yeah.
And during COVID, we finally met up and we had a sparring session, and he gave me the business. You know, he's at that point he was probably 144 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
We come in, he brings his new girlfriend in, he gives me the business. He's hitting me with tricks I've shown him, trips and all kinds of stuff. I'm like, okay, you finally exposed me. I'm too old to go with y'all.
Yeah, that's it.
Give it to you.
I'm
gonna give it to you. I said, give me 2 weeks and let's see it again.
Jeez.
The next week he doesn't show up. And then the next week he shows up again with the new girlfriend. Completely reversed. Everything he hit me with, I made it a point to hit him with it back in front of his girlfriend. And then I told him, "Nah, you ain't got it yet. I'm still gonna be here. You don't get the mantle yet, young buck."
Wow. I mean, that would be enough to make me like, oops.
He picked off.
He'll call back in a second, I'm sure. It's an interesting talk, though.
We got caught in the middle of the story here, man.
It is interesting, though, because it's like the greatness factor of it, like you just don't see it. Like, you know, when is it going to happen? And again, I don't expect every single year to be someone that does that. But that being said, it almost needs people that get it all, that have all the things working together and have the drive and motivation.
Very true.
And want to be the person outside of the sport that's still amazing, that comes and kind of resets the bar. And you need that. Like, I don't think you really get that anymore. And it has to happen. Otherwise, things just become mediocre and boring.
Would we say that Patrick Mahomes might fall in that category?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but I'm back.
He's back. Yeah. He's back. Well, you know, we're just keep talking about the greatness thing, because it is one of those things. Like, we want to see great sports because it's entertaining, it's fun, it's awesome.
No matter what it is, whatever
it is. But you know, that relies on the athletes. You know, coaches can only do so much, promotions can only do so much. It does come down to someone's personality and mental fortitude, for lack of a better word, that really is going to make the difference. And you know, who's next? Who's going to be the one? Who's going to be the one that actually? Because I think the door is open.
Yeah.
Oh, it's open. It's open.
That kid, what's that? The kid from San Antonio, Wemby. He's been a lot of talk just because of his size and what he can do with basketball at long range and all of that stuff. But I mean,
Yep.
I don't know if he's going to be able to. I don't know if he's going to be able to develop into that person. When you say NBA basketball, who's your favorite? They say Wemby. I don't know if he's going to.
That's what it is.
Going to do it.
That's what it's going to take. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's weird now. It's so weird. It's like you look at hockey where we are, and you're the greatest hockey player in the NHL right now is Connor McDavid, and the last 9 years he's played in the NHL, they haven't won the Stanley Cup. They haven't. The best two guys in the NHL play for the team in our city, Edmonton, Draisaitl and McDavid, and neither of them have been sniffed the Stanley Cup yet. 10 years into the game, not even a sniff. And it's like, well, you got to get to that, like, because you'll just have a great highlight reel to show your kids one day, but you won't have a Stanley Cup, or you won't have a Super Bowl, or you won't have a UFC title, because that's that extra. You need that extra, and if you don't got that extra, it ain't happening for you.
Yeah. And even today's climate, like, can you really develop a cup following? Because with free agency and everything,
that's
not
right.
the same team every year.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's not like when we was watching Bird with the Celtics, Magic with the Lakers.
That's right. That's right.
Dr. J with the 76ers.
That's right.
You don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
And same with the NFL. You go to buy a jersey. My Khalil Mack jersey comes for the Raiders. It comes in the mail. I put it on. I've never bought a jersey of any sports person in the world. I bought Khalil Mack. Literally 2 weeks later, he was traded, and I thought, how the hell can you trade Khalil Mack? Like, that's bananas. But that's how it's happening now. Like in hockey, NFL. Max Crosby said yesterday, Max Crosby, arguably one of the best defensive players in the NFL, says, if you don't make AP Antonio Pierce the coach of the Raiders, I'm thinking about free agency. Holy shit, the place goes mental. What do you mean? Because the players now have a little more of a say. They have a say in shit. Do you really want not Max Crosby to play for you? That's what he's saying, because he sees who should be coaching. But this is the world we live in today, man.
Yeah, I mean, and it happens at every level.
Yeah.
Yes,
the kid is getting some difficulty in college, not getting no playing time. Guess what? I'm hitting the transfer portal.
Yep.
Oh my, that's a pandemic in itself.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Where's the work?
Yeah,
where's the work? Go take that man's. If you want that man's position, go take it.
Yeah,
that's what I did.
Yeah.
When I went to my university, I saw the guy that played my position and the number that he wore. I said, I want his position and his number. And the next year, and I took it.
Jeez.
And he quit.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right. Someone's gonna quit. Someone
will. Yeah, that's part of it. But
Yeah,
that's how your teams get better. Well, Pete, it's always awesome talking to you. It's good seeing you again, and thanks so much for joining us tonight. What's the next big thing you got cooking?
Next big thing, I don't know. The gym, the new gym opening.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's the next big thing.
And that's in San Antonio. That's in San Antonio, Texas.
It's in San Antonio. Yeah, it's in San Antonio. It's actually right across the parking lot from where we are now. We bought a plot of land about 10 years ago, and now we're finally being able to build on it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be good to go.
Are the Texans in your city?
Texans about 2.5 hours from us. They're in Houston.
They're in Houston. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you more a Texan fan than you are a Cowboys fan? Or neither?
I am a 49er fan.
Oh, okay.
Boy,
okay.
Oh boy.
I hate the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Well, it's not necessarily the Cowboys, it's their fan base.
No, I hate them all. I hate the whole thing. I think they're the trashiest organization in the NFL. I've made that very clear. People have asked me to go to Dallas Cowboy games, and I said that'll never happen. I could never step foot in. If I saw Jerry Jones, I'd throw a frisbee at his toupee. Like, I'd just be wham. I don't like them at all, man.
I'm a 49er fan.
I think the 49ers got a good shot this year. Real good shot.
I hope so.
Yeah.
If we meet the Ravens again in the Super Bowl, that would be great. But them Ravens are tough. They really
good.
put it to
they
us
are
last
tough.
time.
They are tough.
So
they're tough.
But we'll see.
Yeah, we will.
Well, Pete, thanks so much for joining us tonight on the Mean Jesse podcast. Always great talking to you. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks,
of
buddy.
course.
Thanks, buddy.
Of course. It's always a good time. Y'all take care.
You too.
Buddy.
Bye.
All right.
Bye. The secret weapon, everybody. Pete Spratt on the show today. Fantastic.
Well, hey, man. Good welcome back to the year.
Yeah, fan, it's great. And next week we have Julia Budd on the show, 4-time MMA world champion, former Bellator female champion. She's going to be on the show next week. Awesome fighter. Awesome.
Really cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, until then, thanks Backscape for sponsoring us again.
And don't forget Crystal Glass, your clear choice for all your glass needs. Call 310 Glass or go to crystalglass.ca. And of course, Backscape, everybody. And
there we are.
Jesse Martineau starring in many of those commercials, which I absolutely love.
Well, everybody, until next time, good to see you again this year. That's Mark Pavlich. I'm Jesse Martineau. This has been the Me and Jesse podcast. Thanks so much, Pete Spratt. And we'll see you next week, everybody. Have a good night.
Thanks for watching the Me and Jesse podcast. Follow us at facebook.com/Me and Jesse.